Everyone, I'm making some adorable glow-in-the-dark epoxy resin and glass ghosts using the Let's Resin glow-in-the-dark pigments. They are beautiful. Keep watching if you want to see what I make.
So for this project, I started with the pink opal iridescent glass pebbles from Hobby Lobby, and I thought those would work well with all the different colors. And then I used the Let's Resin glow-in-the-dark pigment powders, and they are so pretty. The first one, I am actually using the purple, and they're all glow-in-the-dark, so I'm really excited to see how they work. I tried to do ghosts last year, and I was able to do them, but I'm hoping that mine look a little better this year. I'm going to give you exact measurements of everything, and if you use the same thing, it should hopefully work out the same for you. So the paper plate that I have is 10-inch diameter, but the interior diameter before it goes up on the curve is 7.5 inches. And I'm taking exactly 3 ounces of Bond Crafter resin and mixing it with several little spoonfuls of the Let's Resin purple mica powder, the glow-in-the-dark. And then I'm taking my pebbles, or glass pebbles is what they are, and putting them all the way around the perimeter of the plate, the outside perimeter. And then I'm just, I did put my resin through the bubble machine from Resiners, and I'm pouring it in the center of the plate, and I'm letting it sit. So I checked it after 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and then at 4 hours I found that it was no longer sticky when you pushed on it, but it did push in and leave a little dent, so it was still pliable. So at that point I got my little cup that I had taped a golf ball to the top, and I feel like these are what I made up was a lot rounder than what I had for the heads of them last year. And it's just one little cup. And the height of this cup with the golf ball at the top is exactly 3.5 inches. And I want to say that the temperature in the room is between 72 and 74 degrees, because the temperature of your room will affect its curing time. The cooler it is, the longer it'll take to cure. The warmer it is, the faster it will cure. So, and here I am, and I should have gloves on because I'm touching it, but I am just kind of trying to manipulate it so that there's ripples, like 8 ripples all the way around, so it's not just 4 edges sticking out. And here I am kind of pushing them into shape with my hand. And can you see the lines going down it? Like I said, I don't know if it's because this time that I'm doing it, it's translucent and those were under it, and the white ones. Unfortunately, I gave all my white ones to my cousin's granddaughter. She walked in and said, "Oh, those are so cute." And I said, "Oh, take them." So I don't know what the inside of them looked like, but wait until you see it. Looks really cool the way it turns out. And then after I manipulated it and I was happy with the way it looked, I let it set overnight. Keep watching because I show you the glow in the dark at the very end. It looks really cool. So here it is the next morning, and it's so cool the way it has those lines down it. But anyway, you kind of have to work at it to get that plastic out from inside of it. And if some of it stays in there, I don't think it really matters because you can't see it. There was actually a couple pieces I pulled out that were stuck in there and you couldn't tell. So look at the inside. Oh, so you can see some plastic on the bottom. Look at the inside. Isn't that crazy? I think it turned out so cool. I don't know if that's because now it's kind of translucent that you can see that. I don't know, but I think it looks really neat like that. So next I'm going to do 3 more, and one of them I'm going to make so that it's not translucent, and I'm going to see what the difference is. So I have 3 cups of resin, exactly 3 ounces each, and I'm going to be using different colors. So this one I'm using the fuchsia. And this is again the Let's Resin glow-in-the-dark pigments. And so the 1 3 ounces I'm adding the fuchsia and just mixing that in. because I haven't mixed up the resin yet. And the second one, I'm just mixing the resin without any color because I'm actually going to divide it into 3 separate cups after it's gone through the bubble removal machine. And then the very last one, I'm adding one of the, they look like white, but it actually says sky blue, but it was the closest to white that I could find. And I added some of the glow in the dark, and then I also added some of the eye candy snowflake glittery mica powder to it and mixed that up. Then I put all 3 of them in the bubble removal machine. You have to be careful when you add pigments when you're using the bubble removal machine, because the ones with pigments can bubble up and go over the top. So sometimes you actually have to release the pressure and start over again, which I had to do with the white one. But with the regular resin, you don't have to do that. Usually people split the cups, but I've actually had it almost filled to an ounce before the top with just resin without colorant, and it's been fine. Then I take my glass pebbles, just like I did in the last one, and put them around the perimeter of each of the plates. So the clear resin I end up dividing into the 3 cups, and I could have left the third one right in the 1 cup and not wasted another small cup, but I didn't think about it until after I started pouring it. And I then poured the fuchsia onto the plate. Then I poured the one that had the glow in the dark plus the eye candy snowflake, and I put that mixture together so that it would turn out more opaque. So for this next one, I'm trying to create the candy corn look only with the glow in the dark one. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. So the first color I put in was the gold, and then I thought, oh, that's not orange enough. So I ended up adding one that's called salmon. So it has the gold and the salmon together, mixed together. And then for the next one, I used yellow, glow in the dark. And for the very last one, I used the sky blue again because that was the closest to the white that I could find. So I'm not sure what it's going to end up looking like. It all might mix together, who knows, but the colors sure do look pretty, especially the orange one, which is the combination of the salmon and the gold. It's super bright and super pretty. So next I pour the orange first, and then the yellow in the center of that, and then the white in the center of that. And then I kind of just straighten the plastic out on all of them and let them sit for 3 hours to check them after 3 hours. So for the next 3, I ended up waiting 4 hours thinking it was ready, but it wasn't ready. It was too sticky, and you can see I touched it with my finger, and if it sticks at all to your finger, and you should be wearing gloves, it is not ready. So I don't know if the temperature in the room was different or what the story was, but this time it was not ready after 4 hours. So I messed with this a little bit, and I ended up taking it off of that one mold and putting it on top of another one and straightening it out. And then for the other 2, can you see how drippy that is? It's just too drippy. So for the other 2, what I end up doing is waiting for another half hour, and then they were ready. So this one I'll do a little slower, and now you can see how that is more firmer consistency, but there is a point of no return where you have to get it after it's sticky, but before it is not pliable anymore and won't fall down to the sides. So it usually falls so that there's like 4 or 5 points, and then you have to kind of manipulate it a little bit and pull out some of the other points from in between the larger ones to make it fall better. And that's just what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to pull out a couple of points between the other larger points in the middle. And you can see that it's not dripping down all over the place like it did, as you can see the orange and yellow one over in the top right corner over there. So, and you can see me touching it with my hands now or with my gloves on, and it is not sticking to my fingers. and the orange one isn't sticking anymore either. You could see me just touch it. So you really have to touch it, and if it sticks, it's not ready. You just have to then keep on checking it every 15 minutes or so. And see how easy that was to move around without it dripping all over the place. So now that one's pretty much done. Just spread it out a little bit, and the white one I will fast forward through a little bit. I think you get the idea. So again, you can see how it has firmer consistency. Just center it over the little model that you have there, and then pull out the other points in between the larger points. And like I said, it shouldn't be sticking to your fingers at all, but yet it can't be firm. And the orange one's doing okay now too. So this is the next day, and I'm just going through this part fast. I pulled all the plastic out, and the plastic is really kind of hard to get out, and it sticks to the bottom, but just keep messing with it. And if some of it is in there, sometimes you can't even tell that it's in there. So anyway, those 3 are done, and you keep watching. They turn out so pretty decorated. Okay, now starts the fun part. So I have all 4 of them there, and I'm gonna decorate them. I've never seen them decorated like this before, but the first thing I'm gonna do, of course, is put the eyes and the mouth on, and I'm just using a permanent black magic marker, which is super easy. You have to just find a side of it that's flat and draw it on the flattest side that you can find that looks nice from the front. And really all of them fell nicely on the front. The only one that didn't was the orange and yellow one. On the one side it's a little bit longer than the other. And the other weird thing about the orange and yellow one is, do you remember I did it orange, then I put yellow in the middle, and then white, and somehow the yellow fell down and ended up being the first one on the bottom, which is kind of weird. So next I have this Let's Resin UV bonding resin, and this is different than the regular UV resin in that it sets up in 3 to 5 seconds, whereas the regular UV resin is like 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes even longer if you have to do it from the top and the bottom. The only thing is this bonding resin, a little bit has to be seen, or there has to be some transparent areas to get under there to be able to bond it. So anyway, this was pretty easy. So these little flowers that I'm putting on there are actually flowers I picked up from Temu, but I'm sure they're on Amazon. And everything that I've used in this video, I will put a link for under the description. So if you look under the video, if you're looking at a regular computer, it's directly under the video. I think if you're on an iPad and you click description or more, it'll come up on the right hand corner, and I'm not sure where it comes up on the phone, but it's available no matter which way you're looking at it, and I will, like I said, put everything in the description. And I apologize, here I'm kind of off camera and you can't see what I'm doing, but I pretty much go all the way around her head, and I promise you I'm going to show you all of them at the end. They turned out so cute. Isn't she adorable? I think that is so cute. The little flowers around there. Next I'm moving on to the white one, and again I'm just finding the flattest spot that I can put the eyes and the mouth on. And you can draw different faces. It doesn't have to be just circles. If you're creative and draw well, I even have a hard time putting a straight circle on there. But you know, you could put any kind of a mouth or whatever you want. And then up at the top center, you can see the little pink bow I'm going to put on there, and that's one of those into resin molds. It's real pretty because it has like that diamond effect on it. I think that's what you call it, where it's kind of like a crystally effect, where when you turn it different ways it kind of sparkles. Again, I apologize. I didn't realize I was off camera. So again, I just used the bonding resin and attach that to the top, and I think that's super cute too. And then I do the same thing for the pink one with the eyes, and I have another one of the little into resin bow molds that's super cute that I stick on the top. All I do is put a little bit of the bonding resin on, hold it on the top, and put the light on. And I really don't think you could do this with like E6000 or anything, because unless you have some way to hold it up there, because you really need an instant bond because of the way it's positioned like that. And then the last one is the orange one, and I'm going to put this little witch's hat on. So I got this witch's hat. They came in pairs from Michael's last year, but they have them again this year. And their Halloween stuff is not 40% off yet, so these are like $4.99 for 2 of them. But I just ordered a whole bunch of them on Amazon, and it came with hats and pumpkins and little brooms and stuff too. And for like $6 or $7 maybe. It was under $10, and you ended up with a bunch of hats, a bunch of brooms, and a bunch of little mini pumpkins. And so now for this, I'm using the E6000, and because this is flat, I can just stick these little tiny flowers on there with the E6000 and they won't fall off, and they'll be dry within a couple of hours. I'll show you the bag of stuff I got on Amazon at the end of the video, and I'll also put a link for it in the description. And then look how cute this turned out. Isn't that adorable? And like I said, I'm going to show you them all at the end. And then I got these, they're like little spiders I got in the scrapbooking section, and I believe I got them up at Hobby Lobby, and they have little sticky backs on them, and I just take one and I stick it to the front of each of the ghosts. So next you can see the pink mold with the little tiny black bats in it. I made up a bunch of those, and then again with the bonding resin I attached 1 or 2 of them to each of the ghosts. I thought those looked so cute.
Hey everyone, didn't they turn out adorable? I am so happy with them, and it's just a matter of figuring out when it's ready to pick up and put on top of the mold. And if you watched my video last year, it was a disaster area. I mean, I ended up with some that were okay, but they didn't turn out as well as this. So the trick is to find it when it's just right to be able to pick up and put on top of the mold. And if it's sticky at all when you touch it, it's not ready. And then there's a fine line between that and no return. So you have to really keep on checking it. And probably every 15 minutes is what I ended up doing. So anyway, it's like I know you can use any kind of resin you want, and each resin is probably going to be different, and of course your room temperature affects it and all that stuff. But I know that, when they make the bowls, the resin bowls, which is kind of the opposite of this, they're just upside down bowls. Someone was talking about using a fast cure resin is what she always used. So you could also use the fast cure resins. It would go quicker. You just have to check it, sooner. But I just thought all the little things that go with it were so cute, and these hats. So that hat there was $4.99 for 2 from Michael's last year, and they have them up there again this year. But I found on Amazon these, you can get a whole bag of these cute little pumpkins. And so 8 pumpkins, 8 hats that are very similar to those, and then 8 of the brooms all together in one package for $9.99 on Amazon, and I'll put the link in the description. So these are a real good deal, even just for the hats. Now I thought these things were adorable, these little candy pumpkins, which kids would carry around and put their candy in. Now those were up at Michael's too, and they were 4 for $4.99. They were kind of pricey, and they don't have their Halloween stuff on sale yet, but I just had to have them. I thought they looked so cute with that. But in these little bows, is another one of those bow molds from Into Resin, and the They're just super pretty. These you can actually, they're actually supposed to be hair clips. You can actually put a clip on the back of them while it's setting up. And see how they have that real pretty crystal effect? I just think those are real pretty too. And of course you can find bow molds on Amazon and everything. You don't have to get an into resin mold to do that. But I just thought these were super pretty. They have the special crystal effects or diamond or crystal effects or whatever it is. And like I said, I'll put a link to everything I used under the description. And then these little flowers that I put on the top of there, those were all from Temu last year, but I'm going to look for them on Amazon also because I know people have been having problems with higher prices with Temu. And then the little bats was a little mold. And I got this on Amazon. It came with a few other molds too. And they're just little teeny tiny bats. And you saw I put them on the ghosts and also on the, I just put them for a little table scatter. But anyway, and the weird thing was this, I was trying to make like a candy corn and I did the orange, yellow, then white. You don't see any of the white. The yellow fell to the bottom, which I thought was kind of cool. And she turned out pretty cute too, I thought. But my favorite ones are the ones with the bows on top. I thought those were so funny. And, oh, I like the little flowers on top too. Whoops. I thought that was cute. Anyway, I think they're all cute. And for the bottom of it, I used these glass pebbles from Hobby Lobby. And of course, you don't have to use glass pebbles. You can use beads, anything you can use. I don't know, you might even be able to try it without anything. But most everyone I've seen use something at the bottom to catch the resin or help pull the resin down. I'm not really sure the purpose of it, but it looks cool at the bottom. So last year, I think I may have used some beads and I may have also used some of the crushed glass from Michael's. So the other thing, these are all colored with the Let's Resin mica powders. These are the glow in the dark, but they are so pretty. Even if they weren't glow in the dark, I would use these because of the colors. I mean, the colors are just amazing. Look at the real pretty colors on there. So anyway, and I'm using these in a few more projects coming up. So you might want to get them before they sell out. I don't know. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description for everything that I've used here. So it was a real fun project. I'm super happy that it worked out this year, not like last year. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoyed the channel, I'm going to be putting out a whole bunch of holiday stuff, more Halloween stuff. I know everybody's kind of gearing up for the craft sales and stuff like that, and everybody likes to know what they're going to make for the holidays and get ideas, so I'm going to be doing that. So if you hit the bell, it will notify you every time I put a new video out, and I'll be trying to put 1 to 2 out a week. We have the Facebook page going, amazing group over there. Come join us, check us out. A lot of holiday ideas there also. And I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching.